incentive of like $30 of OP to add their OP address, and then also they could be in the round, the QF round, if they're verified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then yeah, Jake was saying ETC integration and superfluid. I would probably wait at this stage because there's not really anything for them to do, and I think we have enough stuff in the newsletter already. Yeah, I would probably save that one for later.
Also, I think I added this in another issue, but I was thinking that we could highlight these 1,000 donation that Id Barcelona made for Giveth as the Giveth partners. Part of the tickets they donated to the Giveth matching pool. And
yeah, I saw that.
Also we received 1,000 from. I remember the name, but we received 2K. Oh, and I'm already saying that she already included. Okay, perfect. Team finance, yeah, definitely. Oh, cool. Great. I think we already brainstorm a lot on that, and then I see that the onboarding page is live, which is great. I know that this took a lot of work.
Yeah. I would think, yeah, like it took longer than we expected, but I think it's worth it. So this is like a page that we can send to anyone that's new to Giveth. And what's cool about this is if you put your email here, you could all like test this out later if you want. You'll get a series of 7 emails over like the next 7 days that basically explain what Giveth is and like just walks you step by step for someone that's brand new to Giveth. So I think this is a really cool place to send people that are new to Giveth. And then we can also do like marketing around this somehow, like if we do like webinars or like just in general, like if someone is new to Giveth and they're at like a Meet the Makers event, for example, like just send them onto that page. We could also maybe include it in our welcome message on Discord also, maybe. Like just like, oh, if you're new to Giveth, you know, like start here, basically.
Oh, that's a good idea. I think that Ashley is here. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
excellent.
and then also like yeah, of course. I recommend that everyone also sign up for it and like just see how the emails come in and just let us know if you have any feedback. Since yeah, like they'll be like sent to you over 7 days. So just yeah, like if you notice something weird or if something feels like it's off, just let us know.
Definitely. Cool. And then I think, Emma, that you mentioned what was going to be the next steps for our Retro PGF campaign moving forward. So I have that to discuss it today. But before, I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything regarding this Arbitrum round on Gitcoin. So right now we had some tweets scheduled already. Lauren jumps in a shield space today. I'll join tomorrow one. Ahmad is already aware on the email that we will be sending, inviting people to support this round. Anything else that's missing? I know that Lauren or Jake or Mitch, I don't know if we're missing something regarding this Arbitrum Gitcoin QF. I don't know if it's that QF. I think so, right? Yeah.
I think that's great. Yeah, I think the Twitter space shilling is going to be good. I posted 2 more for this week, but yeah. And then I mean, we could do a little bit of like outreach. I don't know, if you haven't donated already, donate to Giveth, and just like tell a couple people to donate to Giveth. If everybody kind of like tried to rally a few people, I think it would be helpful. But yeah, I think we should prioritize the OP work over the Arbitrum stuff, although this is still great and important.
Definitely. Jake, Mitch, anything else, or are you?
No, I see that the unique donors are coming in, so we just got to keep pushing the unique donors for it. And I know Lauren's already aware of the Twitter Spaces, so that's huge. No, nothing really from my end. So just keep pushing for unique donors.
Great. Excellent. Cool. Just wanted to make sure that nothing was missing on that effort. And then let's go with the juicy part of this goal, because I know that this is basically the main thing we should focus on this month. So retro PGF, the next round that's coming, and all the efforts that we should put forward on these month. So maybe Surbi, you want to share the details of these Facebook paid campaigns, and then we can move to QF.
Absolutely. So far, I would say the efforts fall into like two buckets. And third idea I would like to discuss here. The first one is I have just collated list of 50 to 60 groups and communities on Facebook, centered around fundraising, nonprofits, nonprofit professionals, etc. The idea is to put a lot of outreach messages for people to register and sign up on Giveth, register their projects, raise funds to Giveth, etc. And that's pretty much serves as free marketing, right? So that's something I have done. So far, we have not really received a lot of engagement, and I've not received any message so far. But yeah, let's see. It's just been 1.5 to 2 days. But I think this is something we can actively explore even after the optimism, because just think of these groups as very close-knit communities where people seek advice from each other. Let's say it's a group of 10,000 non-profit professionals from around the world. So they pose questions like, I'm just getting started. I just registered my NGO. How can I raise funds? Now, we can be very active, we can just scout these groups, let's say 1 hour every day, and just reply to these queries. I think that's an easy way to get more projects on board. That's one. So specifically for optimism, doing that. Second thing is regarding the paid campaign. So my initial research around this pointed out that it might not yield a lot of ROI or results. So I was I had a call with Lauren also this evening. So she mentioned to still go ahead with it. It makes sense even if we get like 30-40 projects converted through this particular campaign. So yeah, I mean, some of the details I've shared with Ahmed, I would love to, have his expertise on that. And I would love to discuss with him the nuances of that paid campaign tomorrow sometime. So yeah, I mean, we are good to kickstart that campaign if it's approved, and, if Ahmed also gives a go ahead on that. That's one. Beside that, I was thinking, let's say we are going to spend $5,000 to $6,000 on paid campaign for the month, right? And we might get, as per the estimates, we might get 35 to 40 conversions. It might be a little less also than that figure. So I was thinking, how about reaching out to nonprofits really manually, just figuring out, in which countries people are more receptive towards, crypto, which is why I was just asking in the group today, which are the countries from which we are getting maximum projects listed. So we can target those nations or regions specifically, and we can start doing manual outreach. That's very labor intensive for sure. I mean, it takes a lot of effort. But if we are really pressed on, we really need projects, like 600 projects is our target to get in this 1 month, which seems quite huge to me. So I think that is something we can do. So Lauren was suggesting Elgene would be happy to help, and I would just love to hear what you guys think about this effort, if anyone wants to join in this effort, if at all it makes sense. So yeah, would love to hear. But that's what has been going on my end with these 3 efforts. So Almond, over to you.
Just some context, especially for you, Amat, because I would love to hear your thoughts. Giveth asked for a paid campaign because we have 1 month to reach our goal of 640 projects. So we should try to get there. And he was willing to try paid ads, which is Facebook, because is where the majority of organizations or nonprofits usually hang out. So Surbi is basically figuring out the details about the budget and all these things that she was mentioning. Surbi, do you want to say something, to add something?
Really, I just sent in a sheet to Emma, a lot of details. So yeah, I mean that's very detailed, discussion. Which, if you suggest, we can have separately also tomorrow sometime. But yeah, I would just love to hear your thoughts. Thing is, like, my understanding of running campaigns so far, because we have not run campaigns at all in Giveth with paid campaigns. And this is the first experiment, so it might take some time to learn, tweak campaigns if they are working for us or not. So I'm not too sure if at all this will help us. So that's what I wanted your expertise and suggestion in.
Yeah. I guess there's a couple of things. So number one is, so the projects that we need to get on Optimism, could we start with our own projects first? Like, do we know how many of our projects listed their Optimism address? Yeah, so I would start there first. And then also,
Definitely. I heard it was like we have 105 with Optimism addresses and 150 that could get them, which is not enough. That's not enough.
Okay. So we need more. And and then just in general, I mean, if you think about marketing like a funnel, right? It's easier to like find people at the bottom of the funnel. So, like, for example, if we already find a project that is already on Optimism or already at least familiar with Optimism, that would be like 100 times easier than finding someone on Facebook and like having them sign up and all that. So probably I would start with all of the projects that we know that are raising funding on Optimism, maybe like the retroactive public good list first, and like make sure all of those are on Giveth. And like just start with like the low hanging fruit first. That would probably give us at least like 100 or so. And then slowly work our way up. So then we could target like Gitcoin grant, like people. So like ones that are not necessarily on Optimism, but they're still familiar with Web3. And like then like maybe as like a last resort, we could try paid ads. But I mean, my impression is like if we just tried paid ads and sent them onto Giveth onto our project page, we'd probably get 0 people signed up. So like what I would recommend instead is if we do run paid ads, have them land on something that's super simple. So it's like sign up for like a webinar or like a free event, where we like walk them through the process of like setting up on the call or like on an event. So maybe like we could set, like an event or like a webinar kind of a thing where like these projects sign up and then like we try to get like 50 of them just signing up for it. And it's like something very basic, like why why you could raise more funding, in Web3, for example. I mean, like something like that. And then like we show them step by step how to sign up. That would probably be a lot better than like just running a campaign and just having them come to our site, because I mean, like if you just look at it at a normal nonprofit on Facebook, I doubt they would sign up like just like that.
I like the divide and conquer approach though, so that like we don't wait to do any of these things because we only have a month. So we really got to make the push, and it takes a lot of time to get verified, right? So we really only have like 2 or 3 weeks to try to get as many people to try to go through the verification process as we can. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity if we market it well to say to to get like regular nonprofits on. Hey, $30, like sign up bonus, plus you can, when you raise money, you get more than 100% of the donations that you get. We don't take any fees. We actually have a referral program. So like that's one hell of a pitch, right? So yeah, I hope that we can get the 150 verified projects to get their addresses, but I think that we should really start venturing out and take this as an opportunity for like a really strong sprint. And even if it's just in a chat room that a lot of us are in, to help them join, like instead of a webinar, which would there'd be like a delay, if we could just like open a chat room or something. But I like the simple approach for sure. And Ashley, you were going to say something. I interrupted.
I want to touch on this chat room thing that you're talking about. We're working on bringing back the Telegram group that should have a support channel, so maybe that's a good place for these types of projects to connect for support getting onboarded. But really, to be completely honest, I don't think Facebook is really the most strategic place to be doing a paid campaign right now, because just from my experience and everything, the biggest hurdle is not getting people to understand Giveth or get their project on Giveth. The biggest hurdle to onboarding nonprofits is getting them to understand crypto and Web3 and to start a wallet. So it's not that Giveth is complicated, it's that crypto is complicated. So I believe that if we focus these efforts, I don't know if we can put up a proposal in Optimism somehow, or a project that's collaborate with projects on Optimism already to do these paid advertisements within the Optimism environment with, advertising to people who are already using the Optimism chain. Might be more strategic. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this, but Facebook just seems it's like running into a wall a lot of the times, and that's with all my experience with onboarding projects. It's really not Giveth that's complicated. It's Web3 that's complicated for nonprofits.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think also we could try even Twitter. I mean, for example, we could run Twitter ads and say show the ad to people that are following Optimism, as simple as that. And then just say, show the ad that way.
Usually it's fine, but there's a stigma created by the sec. Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, I have nothing. I don't think doing a paid campaign on Facebook is a great idea. And making a chat room and crossing your fingers that it works. I like Avad's idea of the low-hanging fruit, using what we have available in the team.
I mean, but is that enough? I mean, because we need more, right? Yeah, sorry, Suga, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say I want to second, third, and fourth what everybody's saying about that. And just briefly, tangentially, because I'm going to get preoccupied in about 5 minutes, just to say on the point that I put in the notion that I've mentioned before, I would like to be part of whatever efforts we can start to develop to really try to create or include some language that that is towards crypto accessibility, because I feel like that message is really something that Giveth can provide and really take advantage of. So this is a separate topic, and I'm really sorry. I'm just trying to squeeze it in because it is related. But to say that we can start producing, and I think this came up maybe a few weeks ago, landing pages or articles or whatever it is, or other gestures that talks about crypto from a positive spin in general, making it more accessible. And in particular, my point is talking about the merge and the proof of stake. Okay, I have to go right now. Sorry, I'm here, but I gotta stop talking.
Well, I also like just a couple of ideas. Maybe low-hanging fruit is also all the projects that participated in RPGF2 are already in Optimism, so maybe we could do a campaign to reach out to them. And then the other idea is, especially now that we're close to finish the second season with ambassadors, maybe we can do like an internal competition of ambassadors and also colleagues of like, let's see who can onboard more people, something like that. Kind of like gamify it.
Perfect. I took notes. I think that these are all great ideas. And I also agree with you, Matt. I think Twitter paid campaign will actually be better because the target is there rather than really Facebook. And also, I think that the second part of this is to coordinate with the verification team and make sure that we have the capacity to verify all the projects that will be coming in order for them to be eligible to get the 30 OP. So that's also something that we should be mindful of moving forward. And what are you saying about Etherscan? Something that we all should...
Yeah, they have on their site, if you fill a form, you can submit like an ad placement, like manually, like through their form. So we should try that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Optimism, the Optimism Etherscan fork doesn't have paid ads. They like chose not to have them. But Block Scout, which is another block explorer, has paid ads on Optimism. But it kind of makes sense. Like if they're looking at the Optimism block explorer and they're like, don't be addressed. Etherscan's great because it's the biggest and everybody uses it, but just more options.
Yeah, I think all these seem to be like individual like placements, so you have to reach out to them separately. Like there's not an ad network for them. So I think like we need to do them one by one and just like fill their forms and like see what they say.
Okay, so we have several things to do. Surbi, go ahead.
I would just respond to Ahmed. I will reach out to them separately and just figure out, what kind of commercials they have and what kind of next steps are involved to actually make it happen. So yeah, I'll update you all on this. But thank you so much for the discussion. This really helps.
I think also we could look at like publications also, maybe like Bankless DAO or any other publication in the crypto space. Like,
I was exploring that,
too.
but yeah, sorry. I was exploring that, but it's very time sensitive. Like we need the projects in the next 20 days or 15 days for that matter, right? To even get so in that kind of bandwidth, we can't really explore that. But that for future, we should definitely do that because it's like crypto native audience, and we are just targeting the right people, right? So that's something we should do for future.
Okay, I want to make some time to talk about the QF, the Optimism QF, because that's something that requires a huge effort regarding comms and marketing. So, Lauren, if you want to kick off the conversation.
Yeah, for sure. So Optimism QF round, I think we could start running the round either next Wednesday if we can get everything in order, and if not next Wednesday, then next Monday, just because it's like Wednesday would be the last day of the week. It would be feasible to launch something with developers, and then like Monday is kind of like the next soonest day after that. The eligibility for projects will basically be projects need to be verified and add an Optimism address and provide an update. So we're going to be sending an email out to projects and asking them to add an update to apply for the round. And then Ashley's going to help to monitor the updates and see which projects are getting in. And maybe I could solicit some help from Nicola as well for that. I haven't talked to her about it at all yet until just now. And then so I think we could do like a little bit of like for content for this like this week, before we're starting the round, we could do a little bit of like Twitter and Instagram posting about like add your OP address. We have this round coming, and that's kind of like one narrative targeted towards projects. And then the second narrative, we could make a couple of content pieces around looking for sponsors for the round. Griff is working on a document for the Quadratic Force to try to get more sponsors, and kind of like basically the offering to sponsors will be the same as we did before. Sponsors will get to pick a few projects that they want to have like auto listed into the round, and they also will get their like face or icon featured on our banner, and then also we'll create some social media content to feature the sponsors like we did last round. I'm imagining we're doing it the same, and Griff, you can correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm missing anything. But yeah, so we could do kind of like, join the Quadratic Force messaging as well, and then once we start the round, just kind of encouraging people to donate. Maybe we could like host a couple of Twitter spaces. I think we can keep it relatively minimal, but like the other thing that might be useful to do, and I think we already started creating something like this before, was some information for projects, some suggestions on like how to market their project. I remember like Amin created something and Suga created something for the alpha round, and maybe we could just like repurpose that and redistribute it as well to like projects that are part of the round, some like helpful tips and tricks to like marketing their projects. Because at the end of the day, quadratic funding usually ends up being pretty successful when projects are kind of like marketing themselves and attracting their own donors, and we just kind of create a little bit of like resource material and space for them to do so. So that's just like a quick brain dump. If you're like, what? I've created a forum post with like the summary of the content, the information. I posted in the chat earlier, and it's also on the forum about this optimism round, but like I'm open to like any questions, and then also just like could definitely use some support with creating some of this material.
The projects participating will be chosen by the team, like for the last round, as I understood, right?
Yeah, well, I think we're just going to do like a basically first come, first serve. Like the first projects who are verified, add their OP address and add an update, like those ones are in, it's like, and we just go them in order of which they do it. So it'll be kind of like the sooner you add your update, the sooner you can kind of secure your spot, so that we don't have any kind of like, subjective choosing. Trying to like make it inclusive to as many projects as possible without it being totally overboard. The you can kind of ballpark here that we were going for is like a matching pool of $25,000 and 125 projects. So it'd be like if we divided the matching amount, it would be like $200 per project. It's not like super, super high, but it is the same ratio that we used in our round. And Mitch made a comment of like, what if we limited the projects and did less? And I've been having this argument with Griff as well. I have Mitch's opinion and Griff has the other opinion, but now I'm arguing Griff's opinion. So.
Oh no! What the hell is this?
The argument
Our goal right now is to bring in more projects for Optimism Retro PGF. So we need, I hear you that it might be more fun to fundraise for this, but we need those Optimism addresses. So.
Yeah, like a big purpose of doing this round and this rush before Retro PGF is to increase our Retro PGF stats. So it's like more donations on Optimism, more projects on Optimism, are like kind of like two major things that we have the opportunity to do in this round. So if we leave it more inclusive, we onboard more projects to Optimism, and just if there's more projects, we can get more donations flowing through on Optimism chain.
Okay, like that, it makes sense. When you relate it to the issue of onboarding projects, it's like, onboard your projects, get 25 OP, and you might automatically be part of like quadratic funding and get even more money. Like that's exactly. Like a whole message in itself.
Exactly, yeah. And I think this is a messaging that we should be using, like Serbi and Algene, if you guys are doing the outreach to projects too. It's like, I don't know, maybe it gets too complicated, but you can use that as part of the narrative. Get on Optimism, get the OP, and have a chance to get, multiply your donations with the matching funds. Yeah. Yeah. So, any other questions or concerns or thoughts?
I have a question. So most likely in a couple of weeks, we might get some money from CowDAO from the POW dump effort that we did last year. What will it make more sense to suggest that that money goes straight to the matching fund, or that maybe it goes kind of like, and then you are also part of a sponsor of this optimism thing, or just leave that apart because anyways this money is already coming into the matching fund?
We can add them if we feel like we're short on sponsors. I don't know when that money comes in, if it comes in time, and maybe we use it for a separate round. We'll see.
Okay.
When is it coming in, do you think?
I think a couple of weeks because the forum proposal is not even there yet. I am getting the input of Luis and Tatu for it, and then I'll probably have it on the Cow DAO forum late this week, and then a couple of weeks from there. So yeah, probably not.
Yeah, we're in too much of a rush.
Okay, great. So, couple of questions. The first thing that we should be doing, we already discussed to add this on our newsletter, and also I believe to start mentioning this on social media. Maybe start creating a graphic so we can start with the identity of this campaign. So I can ask Rodri or Lauren, maybe you want to, you can coordinate with Rodri on images or something like that. And the next thing I would say is to start coordinating a Twitter space, or I'm missing something. What would be the
things to do? Today I'm going to draft a couple of emails that will be sent to our verified projects, telling them about the round, telling them how to get in, make an update, add your OP address. And then I think we should draft, the next thing would be to draft similar social media posts saying the same thing. And we can post that on Instagram and on Twitter. So that will be like for this week. To just start onboarding the project and telling them that the round is happening. And then like with that, maybe like one social media post on Twitter and on Instagram about becoming a sponsor. And that's the stuff that's all like pre-round. Then whether I'm going to look to see if we'll have, all of the issues on production with like the single chain stuff, see if it's going to be even possible to have done by next week. If not, it'll be the following week. But like, then it's like, okay, so either next week or the following week, we should schedule a Twitter space to do like a chill space for people. And then we could like create content. And then it's like also create the content for projects to market to their audience. And also, like, emails to people like, donate in the round. Just so many days to donate left, like X is left to donate. And like those pieces of content via email and social media for peppering like throughout the round. Yeah. And then I guess the last thing is once we have our sponsors, we need to create the sponsor shill material posts.
Is there a deadline for getting logos from sponsors that I should consider? Do we have did you pick a date yet?
Well, I'm going to look. No, I didn't. I have to look through the issues and talk to the developers and like Monique and Mitch and to see when is feasible to start the round, if it's Wednesday or Monday. And then we would have like the deadline for sponsors to submit their deadline for sponsors. We'll have to put a few days before that. So either it would be like Sunday, Monday, or Friday of next week. Like it'll be next week,
Excellent. Cool. This is great. So I see two efforts. One, to get more donations, which would be through these QF round, and then the other that we were discussing at the beginning of the call to get more projects onboarded and at an OP address. So noted on that. Is there anything else that someone thinks that's missing that we should highlight regarding these two efforts for optimism?
Just to emphasize that this is so much more important than almost anything else that we're doing. Retro PGF's giving away $30 million. We got half of our salaries paid for the last 6 months because of it last time, and now we have some real metrics that we can make. So there is other paid work, there is other things, but nothing's going to pay as well as Optimism outreach and Optimism metrics. So really, let's put the word out there. Paid ads for Optimism on I don't know about Block Scout. We'll see how much it is, but I don't think anyone uses Block Scout. But on Twitter and all these things, that actually also helps Retro PGF in general. So these things are all wins to me. Let's get the word out the best that we can in the Optimism community that we are kicking ass on Optimism.
Noted. Thank you. I think someone else wanted to said something. If not, I see that Mitch wants to discuss the relief efforts.
Okay, I can talk, sure. So maybe you guys know, but we're doing this in partnership with Bankless. So they're pushing out their own tweet threads and their own content and everything, fundraising for Morocco and Libya. And it looks like we're going to host a Twitter space on Friday, I think 7 p.m. CET or something like that. So I'm looking for a few more speakers. If there's people who maybe if you have any connections to people on the ground, or maybe they're nationals, if they're Moroccan or Libyan, they can come and talk about it. Maybe there's some crypto nonprofits, even if they're listed on the Giving block, they can come and talk about the work that they're doing on the ground there. So just putting that out there. If anybody knows anybody, we'll be having this Twitter space, and some cool speakers would help us. And we originally were planning to run this until the 1st, but then Nicola reached out and said she wanted to include it in Meet the Makers, and now this Optimism QF thing is happening, so we'll probably run it for the full duration of the QF round, so that'll be an extra 3 weeks or something. Maybe 4. That's all.
Noted. Okay, so that means that I will prepare a couple more tweets just because I kind of mentioned that these were the last days. But no problem, I can just make more. Cool. And I think that you have covered everything with the Giveth team for the Twitter space, right? You don't need more people from the team to join.
No, I'm happy to come in and talk, and then probably some other people, maybe Bankless will even host it for us. We'll see. Might make sense for Giveth to host it, just because, but figure it out.
Well, you can also mention about this optimism thing on the Twitter space. I think that would be also smart. Yeah. Maybe they can even participate in the Giveth QF. I don't know if they actually need the money, but that would be also a great problem if they join. Cool, great. Okay, so anything else? If not, we can give back everyone minutes of their times. Speak now. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining. We'll put our next steps on the chat, and please make sure that you check them out and see if I miss anything. We will start working right away on these, on our optimism efforts. So thank you, and see you next week.
Thank you, Almond.
Comment.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Have a good one.
Bye. Take care.
Thanks, Almond. Thanks, everybody. Ciao.